that while the criminal investigation is going on, before anything's presented to the grand jury, that they've released preliminary autopsy report?
Not to the public, but to the person who's doing the second autopsy. Yes.
Okay, so I looked online at the medical examiner's, like, American Medical Association handbook. It says they're not supposed to do that.
They're not supposed to give it to the second independent autopsy?
Yeah, because they don't. If there's anything with criminal charges or prosecutorial, whatever you guys call it, that they want to keep it. That's what I read.
Wait. Are you saying they don't give the physical pieces, or they don't give the report?
Anything until the charges.
Okay, that's. I no, because
well, are there different statutes for different states?
Maybe there are, but like. But usually, once you get a second autopsy, a lot of times they take it out of state. So, like, that's why Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights campaign is such a big deal, because they provide access and assistance. There's not always people who are equipped to do those later autopsies. Also, there has to be, like, a special room that you're in because of the smells and everything. So, it's very common for it to not be in the same state wherever the initial autopsy was.
I understand that, but that doesn't tell me anything about whether or not they can release it.
But releasing it is but releasing it is different from, like, allowing a medical colleague to evaluate.
All right, so here's Mississippi Code Title 41. S4137-1 autopsy. Yeah, I can't. It's kind of long, I know it. But I guess I could read the summary. But it suggests here that they have the right to hire. Oh, hold on, I can get that. Okay. They have the right to hire. The state has precedence, public interest. Deaths that are suspicious of or occur without medical attendance or under the jurisdiction of county medical examiners. So an official state is active. The state may retain samples, tissues, or organs for further testing, which can sometimes limit and complicate the findings of an independent pathologist. Further, if the death falls under the public interest, the state's investigation takes precedence, and the family must petition the court for an independent autopsy and or exhumation.
Right, which they did, which is how they got the second independent autopsy, which is why, like, even with what you're saying...
There's a court order? What's the court order?
That's how they got that's how they got the body released, from what I understand.
Okay, 1 second. And the court order said that they had to release everything?
Not release everything. I'm not saying, look, releasing everything, keeping the tissues, keeping the samples to test is very different from saying, I'm not giving you any of the original pictures of the body from the original autopsy when it was taken.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. This is why I wish he hadn't done it in this order. Because I can see why a medical examiner, I actually agree with Trent. I actually think that I forget who the prosecutor is. I think maybe it's the New York Times. I actually think that they do suspect foul play, and they might take things to the grand jury. That's actually what hold on, I'm gonna tell you the name. Hold on, I'll tell you the name.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like Suzanne or something, but the thing is, when you're doing, okay, it has been now 10 days or 12 days since they did the second autopsy. That means there has been enough time for him to reach back out to the first autopsy people with his concerns, with the things that they said, hey, this stuff I still have concerns, I still have questions about, and if they were operating in good faith, they could have provided him. You don't even have to give him the original. Give him the copies.
I know, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if it's in this medical examiner's practice to do that. She might have a practice not to do it ever. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the practice is. It's different from place to place. I could actually see where you are, or people think you are, that, they're a lot more forthcoming. But
Oh no.
it just, the way he presented it feels very conspiratorial, and it doesn't have to be.
The way he presented it was terrible, and it was a disservice to the family and to other individuals who suffer the same thing. It is now complete exploitation of this family and their loss, and it's disgusting to me. I 100% agree. But, yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
But no, like generally, when you have a second autopsy, they want all of the findings of the first autopsy. They want to be able to compare and contrast, especially if they're trying to say, hey, this autopsy was inadequate or they didn't do what they needed to do. That's when but when the second autopsy happens, the way that they're able to do that is by comparing the findings from the first autopsy.
So why didn't they wait? That's what I'm saying.
Well, from what I understand,
that's what I'm saying. They could have waited. So let me I've been misspeaking a bit. I would have waited to have done the autopsy until I got the report.
so but that means the body will be further decomposed, and they would not have had access. It would have been more difficult. So I understand why they didn't wait. Like, time is of the essence, especially when the body is decomposing. I thought that the reason they discussed the marked decomposure, and it made it sound like there was additional decomposition since the initial autopsy. At least from the way that it was worded in the expert report. Which is why I raised that, because it made it seem like they had intentionally not preserved the body.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah, I can read it again. It says the second autopsy performed on Willem Rose revealed marked decompositional changes. Marked decomposition can obscure the presence or absence of bruising of the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy. But that could have just been from the heat. I mean, wasn't the body outside for a long time?
But what do you mean marked decompositional changes? Like, changes from when? Changes from what?
I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was saying what I was saying, because it makes it sound like the first autopsy, that was not the problem, and then they didn't preserve the body. But you know what?
Got from that?
Yes.
It was not presented that they had to identify him with dental records, so I thought it was always a problem.
Yeah, I thought his body, his body was found, floating on this is horrible, but I'm sorry, this is terrible, I apologize to everybody. But the body was found, was it called Horn Island?
Yes,
face down.
by the
He was out there
Cajun
for
people.
hours and hours. This is gonna sound horrible, so I know people, but it could have been sun, heat, animals, fish, sharks. We don't know what type got to that body. Like, real talk.
No, I totally agree with that.
Down there, it's like this bayou-like.
But it's hot.
Really
Yeah,
crazy.
swamp. I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I don't know. I think that maybe that was just the way it was presented, and I did, maybe I bought into the suggestiveness more than I should have.
Yeah, okay.
But, like, that was the vibe. It was the way that everything was said. I mean, I don't know if y'all listened, but even when he was like, the organs were removed, the organs are already, like, and people reaming, like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, he's very irresponsible and sensational, and let me do one. I'm gonna do my own personal thing. I say that he wants to be Thurgood Marshall because this took place in Mississippi. I think he finds it to be really allows him to connect himself to a long civil rights attorney history. That's why he brought up Till and Medgar Evers. I actually think that he constructed in his mind a whole scenario with himself at the center, why he did that today. And yet somehow he brought up LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, and basketball players. Ben Crump really needs a sitting down. That's their discussion. So this is in the New York Times article. Last week, Mr. Wells' parents met with Angel Myers Micklerath, the Jackson County District Attorney. Mr. Crump said that the prosecutor had told them she planned to present the evidence to a grand jury once the investigation concluded. The jury will determine whether there is enough evidence to indict someone for a crime. It seems seems to me that that's enough reason to hold back preliminary findings. But again, this is my own personal. I don't know how normal it is, and I certainly don't know about Mississippi, one of the great shitholes on God's green earth. But yeah, somebody needs to send him an email or sit him down. Just pretty bad.
You know, I'm all for like being dramatic about horrible things that happen with cases. Like I'm always gonna talk and advocate for my clients, but this at this point is now becoming like dehumanizing and
Yes.
black pain pimping.
Yes.
And the fact that they keep bringing the parents out is evil.
Yes.
Evil.
Yes.
If I could just say this, ask Tamir Rice's mother about Ben Crump.
Well, you don't gotta tell me. I already know. Okay, because I've worked cases with him.
Well, then you know. I've heard about him, and just the miscarriage of, because I didn't hear his thing. I just read the autopsy report, and when I read it and then went back and heard as you guys played the clips of what he said, he skipped entire parts. And to your point, emphasize things like, oh, they took out their organs, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. And so I've been listening to experts on MSNBC and CNN. I've just listened to a few online, and they said this is everything that happened in this second autopsy, or the first autopsy, sounds very, very normal. There doesn't seem to be anything abnormal from what I've heard. So I'll land right there. But one more thing I want to say. In a couple of hours, it is going to be a great day on Politically Correct. I almost say great day because that doesn't sound right. And an informative day on Politically Correct. First Lady and the great Patty are bringing in 3 MAGA Black conservative warriors from Houston. They will be here in a few hours. I believe it's 7 o'clock Eastern, which is what, 4 o'clock Pacific. I can't do my times, but for those that you want to listen, I think it'll be an exciting conversation, informative conversation, and I hope all of you will stay and participate. And I can't wait to hear. I don't always agree with Ban Meta Peace. Well, I think I actually like this better than Ban Miso. I don't always agree with Ban Meta Peace, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear Ban Meta Peace and these Republican conservatives speak. It will be box office, to quote Stephen A. Smith. I'll land and see you guys.
That was well put. Actually, that is a Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, I'll be here 7 o'clock. I don't know what the format will be. It's not a debate, but we're just asking them questions. What's the format, First Lady or Patty? I don't know what the format is.
We don't have a format. You guys said that. Well, not you guys. Someone else. A wholesome name. Just wanted to talk to other people. And I think a lot of people want to talk to other people. So from the other side and ask them questions, and I guess they'll ask us questions.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the jury will determine. So she said she'll present evidence. He talked a little bit about the grand jury today.
Yeah, but he also made it sound like, okay, so now that I'm thinking back to it, he made it sound like the first autopsy was going to be inadequate. And did the official findings from the first autopsy come back?
No.
Okay. This is... Okay.
Yeah.
This is frustrating now.
Yeah.
I don't get it anymore because the way that all this has been presented is as though the state of Mississippi is in on this conspiracy.
Yeah.
And I am, I'm your conspiracy girly, okay? Because I know about the state doing conspiracy shit and covering shit up.
Yeah.
But if they haven't come back, then we can't say that. That's not a fair assumption.
Thank you.
But I had a question. Is it possible they halted the initial, stop what y'all doing, we want the body? Is that likely, or does that never happen? Could it be they didn't complete it? We don't want. We'll take whatever you did. Thanks, but no thanks. We want to have our own autopsy, or is that not possible? Okay, the chat says
I
yes.
think Mississippi
Wait.
has a tough reputation. I can see why they would do.
Say that again?
Asking, is it possible that the second coroner put an end to the? The second what do they call? Examiner put an end to the first examiner. Like, we don't want y'all with the body. Stop what you're doing. We're gonna do it ourselves.
Oh, no. No.
More so
Absolutely not.
Stuff lined up when they married, though. I think they were, because I know he mentioned he wanted to go over the first one and see if it matches what they have. But their second one was still unconclusive, which wasn't helpful to them. We didn't really get much out of that. So they said he had some redness in the back of his neck or his head or something like that.
Yeah, there's the thing. So the big thing, I think the biggest thing, if you go to the report, you can see they colored it in. Is that, you know.
Wait, Ben, can you, you're saying that Ben Crump takes 40% of the GoFundMe? Okay, because I was about to be sick.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing he probably would get some of that.
There's no way that's completely unethical. Like, there's.
No, I'm joking. I don't know what it is. Let me delete that. I'm just joking. Let me delete that. So it says here, this is at the end of page 2. They found a 12 by inch focal area of discoloration in the deep, soft tissues overlying the occipital bone. The etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlying skin, nor fractures of the underlying skull. Overlying skin, underlying skull. Okay. These findings are inconclusive for paramortem injury. That's injury occurs right before, during, or after death. Right. Paramortem, bury, meaning around. Remember your prefixes, boys and girls. Injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associates. This finding is significant enough to be highlighted in this plenary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate that this finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissections were not performed. So what that's saying then is that when the first autopsy comes, that you're not going to see this thing that they found, because the first autopsy, as Chanel rightly said before, earlier, was they didn't cut the head open, the posterior head and neck open at that point. But I thought, other than that, this doesn't really tell us.
So I do think that part is interesting, though, because that suggests to me that there was something so marked in whatever happened to the throat structure that they did not feel the need to continue looking around the back of the head.
Maybe. That's a good point. That's an interesting point. That's what I'm telling you. I kind of agree with Trent. I think there might be some charges.
Oh,
I'm telling you, there's some. If there was exculpatory evidence, as Pearlie rightly said, and it was very clear, something tells me that, given the national media, again, this is my opinion. I'm not sure. I'm just giving my opinion. Please don't. I'm not an expert. I'm just giving my opinion like everybody else. People on here have less than GEDs. They're allowed to give their opinions. When I give mine, my opinion has to be scrutinized as if someone's giving a prostate exam. Pause. Anyway, what I'm saying is the fact that they're holding stuff back and they're being as thorough, given the national attention, I would think that the state would want this to be done as soon as possible. I think they might be presenting evidence to the grand jury. That's what I think.
well, also having a grand jury, if they're already making it clear that it's pretty much been made clear that they're gonna have a grand jury. You don't have a grand jury unless you are presenting something because you are going to charge someone.
I don't know if there is a grand jury. See, this is all very ambiguous, Pearlie, and all very nebulous, vague, ambiguous, summary, suggestive, all the words that mean anything but specific and clear, because this says, Mr. Crump said the prosecutor told him she planned to present the evidence to a grand jury once the investigation is concluded. Yeah, but the suggestion there is if once it concludes, there might not be anything to present, right? So he was saying grand jury today. So I don't think she's impaneled the grand jury yet. She may have. We wouldn't know. That's what I'm saying. We actually don't know what's going on. That's why people. That's why
So I can actually input on this.
Oh, go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, so it's actually really customary to have a grand jury investigation on suspicious deaths in Mississippi. So they're just seeing if they based off the findings, if a crime was committed. That's all they're asking, or that's all they're trying to determine if there was a crime committed.
Is there a grand jury? Are they always impaneled?
In the event of a suspicious death.
Oh, okay.
So that's a normal thing.
Good to know.
Oh, that's good to know.
And this death is technically suspicious.
You know, when this first happened, I really did want it to be like not like this. Like, this is a tragedy and maybe the kids freaked out. But the way that everything has happened is now pushing towards foul play. And I don't want us to commodify what happened here. Because it just feels like this has now become like commercialized rather than it being memorialized and mourned, because this is a tragedy.
Can I add about the red marks on the back of the head?
Go ahead.
Those are most likely. So when they do an autopsy, they put a block on your head, and sometimes it's wood, sometimes it's foam. Usually it's like a concave, so that your head sits level with your body, so they can, so your head's not turned off to the side or crooked or whatever. They'll put a block underneath there, and so it'll sit at the back of the head, and your blood's not pumping, so things are settling. It's pretty likely that the redness on the back of the head comes from the block. There's a term for it. There's a name for the block. I can't think of it right now, but it's what they use to keep your head stable while you're on the table or the gurney.
Yeah, we've seen it. People are dead. They getting their hair cut. We know what you're talking about. It's not.
Yeah, so that's most likely where that the redness. And like I said, there's no fracture. There's no tissue damage. It's just red. It's most likely a pooling of the fluid back there that left the red mark.
Yeah, there were no associated injuries, and it says quite clearly there was nothing above on the overlying skin or below an underlying skull. So,
Ryan, I got to just tell you, that is excellent information that you just gave. So thank you. I never heard that, and that is excellent information. Early, because you are a lawyer, and we're talking about the sensationalism of this. On the other side, I don't know if you've heard the Officer Tatum interview with, I think his name is Warren. He's his best friend. He's one of he's Caucasian, and he's the one he went out on the boat with. He has given an interview. It was released at 11 p.m. last night. It is going viral on YouTube. You can find it. It's under Officer Tatum.
Give me a summary, dog.
I watched the part one.
Well, yeah, I'll give you the quick summary. Is first of all, there were 3 boats. There were 30 people, and they were drinking. And the reason I'm telling you to watch it, this comes off. When I hear it, he sounds like one of my friends talking about me, or vice versa. Like, this is somebody that definitely liked and was very much cared about Nolan. He comes off very genuine to me. I cannot wait to hear part 2, because that gets... The one thing I don't like, and Brian, you can tell me, the one thing I hate about this is the sensationalism, because you should have just put it all out there to, tell the story. But now you've got everybody waiting for days. Now I don't know when he's going to drop part 2, but it's the sensationalism for likes and money that's happening. So I would love to hear what he thinks happened in part 2, because that's when he gets, when they leave on the boat, that's where this stops. But I would love to hear you, if you can jump on and listen to it, Pearly. He sounds like a very, very believable individual. The one thing I got out of this, I said earlier to Divine, the island's not very big. Well, the island's long. It's 10 miles long, but hundreds of boats out there, and they all tie up. And so it'd be very difficult, from my perspective, for somebody to get into like trouble swimming, nobody be seen. I mean, there are parts of the.
I can speak on that part.
Go ahead, Riley, please.
So, about a year ago, I was watching a video of a lifeguard, and they were it's pretty much swimming safety type stuff, and they were talking about how drowning is silent. In fact, if you Google drowning is silent, I think there's a National Association of Drowning that talks about that video of like what it's like to drown. Drowning is very quiet. It is not like the movies where you're like splashing and screaming for help. It can happen super, super fast. You can blink and then your pupils is gone. And when I watched this video last year, it was a lifeguard who's looking out. He's in a lifeguard booth and he's looking out over the ocean. And obviously there's hundreds of people in the ocean. And they were already videotaping the guy. And then he points, he goes, that guy's drowning out there. And the guy had to be at least 300 plus yards away, way out there in the ocean. So he jumps out, finds and the guy who's drowning is no more than 10 feet away from 12 other people. And nobody noticed the dude drowning but the lifeguard because he knew what to look for. So they get the guy, they save him and everything, but like, it's fast, it's quiet. And like when I hear people say, oh, these people didn't see him, that's how drowning works. It's super fast.
Hold on, just let me say one thing. So, Robert, I have been I've seen that myself. Because when you're out there on the lake, you've been drinking, the music's loud, there's a whole bunch of people horse playing, it can't, I'm not saying that it can't happen. And there are some dangerous rip currents around. So, I agree with you. I'm not dissuading what you say. I just thought when you listen to him talk about how encircled it was and how many people are around, it'd be odd for him to go to a more secluded place. But it's possible. Sometimes you got to go to the bathroom and you go to a secluded place, you can get caught in a rip current. It can happen. I did think it, but listening to this kid, I think everybody should. Listening to him speak, he is very believable. Yes, divine. And I know that's hard to believe that white people can care about black people, but it definitely can.
Trent, my thing is, what the hell? Like, can we pause for a second? Because you're telling me that a potential witness spoke and gave a however long interview?
Yes, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is insane.
It is.
They've already talked to the police.
They should. So,
No,
no,
it's not. Brandon Tatum interviews.
They've already
yes,
talked to
you
the police.
should.
You should not give Brandon Tatum interviews.
Listen. First of all, if it was one of my friends.
Wait, is that Andrew Tate's brother?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's the coon of the highest order.
Oh, God bless. God bless.
I mean, no, this is a man that the blacks were better off during slavery.
He wasn't. Hey man, he wasn't the right choice. I'll give you that. But I will say this: for anybody that gets in trouble nowadays, things are different. This idea that you can stay silent and just let your story be written. If it was one of my friends, I would be out there telling the story and what I knew right away. Because I think you should, because I know that we're all worried about, legal this and legal that, but if it was one of my boys that slipped off a boat and we couldn't find, I'd be the first one in front of the camera trying to find him.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's because they would accuse you first because you were the only black person there.
I think if it's not going to hold in court, it's going to go against normal will, how would that be helpful if it's not?
It's not. They're going to impeach him. Now what they're going to be able to do is take that stupid ass little video and dissect every single piece of it. And if he says anything different, they're going to be like, this motherfucker's a liar. And it's going to cause this whole a terror.
It
It's
is.
shocking.
I have to watch the video. So Trent, is he saying that he was there that day?
I'll just play it.
Yes, he was there.
I'll just play it.
Oh, okay, you play.
Not only was he there, he drove the boat.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh,
I'll just buy it.
it's unbelievable.
Wait, who drove the boat back?
Are you going to play the
I'll just play it.
Oh, he's going to jail.
I'll just play it.
This is dumb.
I want to hear the video. I'll wait.
I'll just play it.
Go ahead, play it, Ben.
I don't think he drove the boat.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's his fault, isn't it, right? Look, man, player.
Isn't he like 17 now?
That's not his fault.
No, this guy's in college. Look, man,
This
player.
is part one. Let me hold on. Oops, sorry.
It's like 17 minutes long.
This is part one. His best friend speaks out. Exclusive. Nolan Wells' best friend speaks out after being blamed for his death. Part one. It's 17 minutes. I'll play it.
If I'm not mistaken, the first account that was made was by his best friend, like on the TMZ platform. Am I correct? Or
That wasn't Warren, though.
Yeah, I think they were mixing up best friend and friend.
Can we please be quiet? We're listening to a tape. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Warren's on the video.
What is wrong with you people? This is why you all have to spank and beat your kids. They see the kind of behavior that you perform and exhibit, and they then replicate it because you model antisociality, conflict seeking, and pure beastly savagery. I just said I was going to play the thing. That's why you have to hit your kids, because they're small versions of you. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? God damn. All right, this is Nolan Wells' best friend tells the truth about Nolan Wells after Backlash Part 1 exclusive. This is Officer Brandon Tatum. I'll go ahead and play it. It is 17 minutes. We'll just play it straight through. And I have some breaking news.
Can you get 1.25?
No, playing double that. I have YouTube Premium, so there'll be no commercials. All right, here we go.
So, Warren, I'm going to ask you some very important questions. I mean, just straight out. The first thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Noah? All right, Warren, we had a chance to get to know each other over the last 2 days when I took on the island. So, I've had an opportunity to talk to you about a few things, and the things that you've told me have literally blown my mind. But the world hasn't had a chance yet to hear your story, to hear Nolan's story through you, through his friend. And it's not just you, it's a bunch of y'all. But, you know, some of the other guys were afraid because of the threats and the violence that's been threatened against their lives and all of the above. But you decided that you wanted to take this bold step and give a statement and, you know, get your side out here. And I want to start at the very beginning of all of this and ask you, what was your relationship like with Nolan, and who was he to you?
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in a million ways. I mean, Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college, you know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And, I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me, and Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. You know, there's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever, and I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never gotten an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together. Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right. Well, Nolan, a lot of the times it was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out. I mean, and my friend group's very, very tight knit. I mean, we hang out every day when we're back home from school. In high school, we hung out most weekdays and every day on the weekend. And I mean, we were never at Nolan's house, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I met his father, and I mean, in 8th grade, that's when Nolan and I like got really close. It was COVID year, and we were in class all year long together, me and a couple of my buddies, and Nolan and I just got super tight because we go to Waffle House once a week together, eat, and I mean, we were just super, super close. But his dad would swing by Waffle House, you know, and like, you know, hang out around us, but never, you know, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot. But I mean, that didn't change our relationship any. Noah and I were still just as close, and he's just as close with my friends as anyone else. So.
And walk me through the day of July where you guys were all going out. It seemed like that. I would assume that may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah.
Wasn't that you guys did more than just this year? It's a two-part question. I want to know: is it something that you guys typically did together that you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. Being from the Gulf Coast, there's a boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I, or my family and I, are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day it's guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island, or people, most of everybody from Ocean.
At least have some pushback. That's why I ain't got no problem with the FBA movement, because at least they're bringing the pushback to the Democratic Party. Hell, they bring pushback on both parties.
Yeah.
It's not no black maggot type GOP type shit. Nah, it's
Tell anybody anymore to call me Uncle Steve. I never say that.
Yes, you do.
Really?
Every time you introduce yourself to someone, you say I'm Steve, or you can call me Uncle Steve.
That's right. I'm Steve. Call me Steve. Or you can call me Uncle Steve. Call me Steve. That's right.
Stop saying that last part.
I will stop saying it right now. No problem.
No, like forever, in every house, for the rest of your life.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that.
My God. You might as well see. It don't even matter if you don't do it here. If you don't do it somewhere else, you're still doing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I guess it don't matter.
Can't stop, won't stop.
You guys are okay with that?
I wish the fuck I would. That's what he wanted to.
Yeah, but see, I can't. If he calls me Dr. Steve, eventually someone's going, you're not a doctor. Well, I never said I was, so there you go.
There's a child.
Okay, see, Day, there's nothing I can do about it.
Kaiser, you don't help at all.
Does he have a law?
Yes?
No, he don't.
One time. I caught Steve in one lie. Well, I guess not really a lie. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was a lie. No, I got kicked out of his house by one of his leaders.
No,
And he said, Dad, I just don't believe you. He said that he didn't do it. And I said, Steve, I have a picture. I PTR'd it. You got the screenshot.
I don't know if you get kicked out of here.
Huh?
You get kicked out of.
I've never kicked Day Day out of my room. In fact, I have never kicked Day Day out of any room.
No, but the emo goth young guy that you was Mod and Cora. Those two.
Young guy.
Like I said, I've never kicked Day Day out of anywhere.
Emo goth, young.
See, notice he's not disagreeing with me. He's not disagreeing with me.
No, I don't think Steve has kicked me, but everybody that he mods has kicked me.
Well, that's not true either. All of my mods have not kicked. Okay, fine. I'm not going to disagree with that.
2 mods have kicked me.
I said I'm not going to disagree with that. If you say they do, I believe you. If you say they did, I believe you.
Do you really believe me?
Have I ever lied?
Yes.
What's the emo guy's name?
No, I don't lie.
You know the emo kid? What's his name?
No, I don't know the emo kid. Who's the emo kid?
You
know his name anytime.
You mean Christian Hill?
No. He's like
Well, you got to give me his name. I don't know the emo kid.
I don't know his name, but he's like a scrawny little white guy with like long hair, kind of.
Sounds like you. Sounds like you.
The YouTuber?
Or
someone on Clubhouse? The YouTuber or someone on Clubhouse?
It's someone on
Clubhouse.
He hangs out with Cora a lot. He calls Cora mom. He calls you uncle.
Oh.
Yeah. Hell no. Indictment.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name, but I know who you're talking about.
All right, there. Yeah. Yeah, but when you're a plus member, whoever clicks on your profile, it tells you in order who looked at your profile, who looked at it last and first, and all that.
I'm gonna go look at your profile, baby.
I'll be right.
Oh, you don't run? You don't run, Steve?
I'm playing Overdose.
Well, basically, I got kicked out of the room, and when you get kicked out, all you gotta do is look at who was the last one to look at your profile, because they have to look at your profile to kick you out, and then that tells you exactly who kicked you out, and then that's
Oh.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
All my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like it wasn't like we beat raging feet up or anything. I mean, it was pretty calm.
And so you guys get out there. I'm assuming they line the boats up because I'm envisioning the picture of getting out there, hundreds of boats. There's thousands of people. So it wasn't just you guys on a deserted island. Of course not. A few people. There's just thousands of people out there, right? And there's a lot of people. What does it look like when you first pull up?
I pull up, and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, early afternoon. I mean, it wasn't. But 10:30 is still pretty early in the day. And when we got there was already 3 rows of boats lined up all the way, like I said, until I could see. And
so you're talking when you say all of you.
My thought process brought you to us today, Montef. I'm not kidding you. That actually happened. And actually, yesterday, there were 2 other things that happened in my life where I kind of had premonitions of something, and it actually occurred. I'm not kidding you. How you get these feelings and know these things, I don't know, but I think it does actually kind of happen. And I don't think it's supernatural. I think it's absolutely natural. At any rate, unlike many of the other rooms of Clubhouse, so we speak one at a time. We don't interrupt one another, and we endeavor to treat each other with a degree of decorum and respect, even when we vehemently disagree, and for that I thank you in advance. And finally, if I or another moderator asks you a question, it's not to start a fight, just asking you a question, and I'm not going to tolerate these kinds of fights any longer on the stage. No, Chicago Mayor. You do not behave yourself, so you shall not be invited onto the stage. But Alan, who is a moderator, and who for some reason comes in without his moderation tools, shall be invited onto the stage and made a moderator once again. Less than a minute to go until the start. Welcome to Sam. Steve, welcome to the stage. Sue, welcome to the room. Lois, Eitan, Dr. Francine, Vat, Andrew, Tiger, did I welcome you? Welcome back, Tiger. Lester, welcome as well. And we're now at the top of the hour. Welcome to the Critical Thinking Forum. We're here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock New York time. Today's discussion is the Democratic Party taking a hard turn to the left? Now, why do I ask this? Well, there's a new University of New Hampshire poll came out just today of potential presidential candidates. And yes, I know this is nauseatingly early even to be considering any of this. I recognize that. But here we are. It's presented to me, and because it's presented to me, I'm presenting it to you. It shows way out in front AOC, way out in front over any of the other names that come to mind. We're mad. You know who doesn't even hardly register? Kamala Harris. And I think all of this is very instructive because AOC represents the new breed of Democrats. Kamala Harris obviously represents the standard breed of Democrats. And so it occurs to me that with all of these Democratic Socialist candidates getting elected, with all the attention of Zoran Mamdani here in New York City, with all this excitement in the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, of all this angst among the Republican pundits that the Democratic Party is turning socialist, or as they like to say, communist, even though there is a distinct difference between socialism and communism. But labels may not mean anything. The realities may mean far more. And we're going to get into that in just a second. It would appear that there may be a shifting going on in the Democratic Party. And that's going to cause, I think, some in the party to embrace this, but some in the party to reevaluate whether this is where they feel comfortable any longer. I can't wait to hear what Scott has to say about this, because anytime I make the comparison between socialism and communism, Scott is right to the rescue of the of the socialists. No, it's not the same. Okay, so let's take a look at this just for a little bit. There's a core difference between what traditional Democrats embrace and the way these Democratic Socialists, now, they're not all members of the Democratic Socialist Party, but they are kindred spirits, the folks that we're thinking of. But how they ultimately aim to replace or fundamentally restructure capitalism. The Democrats have traditionally wanted to reform and regulate capitalism. The Democratic Socialists, they just came out a week ago with a platform at some gathering that they had, so it's right there for us to see. They want to actually replace or fundamentally restructure it.